Hey everyone, it's Amanda. Welcome back to my channel. So you guys obviously know what today's video is going to be. It's my February 2019 Plan With Me. This month is kind of special because it marks 2 full years that I've been doing these monthly Plan With Me videos, which is kind of crazy. I can't believe how fast the time has gone, but if you haven't seen the very first February Plan With Me, it was in 2017. I'll be sure to link that down below if you guys want to do a little time warp and see what my bullet journal looked like 2 years ago to this day. But anyways, 2 years later, obviously some things have changed, like the style of my bullet journaling, my drawing skills, myself included. I am very excited to get planning, but before we do, I'd like to give a quick thank you to today's sponsor, Squarespace. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the perfect all-in-one platform for you to make a website, build your online presence, and run your business. There's going to be more information about Squarespace in the description box below, and I'll talk a little bit more about them later in the video. But without further ado, come and plan with me. Okay, so February's theme is something that you guys have been requesting me to do for a very long time now, and I'm finally getting around to doing it. It's cherry blossoms. I asked you guys over on my YouTube community tab page what theme you'd want to see this month, and cherry blossoms won by far. It was definitely the most thumbs up suggestion. So that is the theme that I'm going with for this month, which I am very excited for because I think cherry blossoms are so beautiful and I haven't done a floral theme in quite a while. I was holding back on doing this theme for a bit just because I know that a bunch of other people have done cherry blossoms in the past. I mean, it's not a completely new idea, so if you want to see some other versions of cherry blossom themes, I'll definitely leave some more inspiration in the description box below, but I tried to put my own twist on it and throw in my version of the cherry blossoms theme into the mix, so hopefully this gives you some inspiration. As you can see, for the cover page, I decided to fill up the whole page with the cherry blossom tree branches. I wanted it to kind of look like you were sitting under a cherry blossom tree and kind of looking up at the sky with all of the cherry blossom tree branches above you and petals falling, and I feel like I kind of emulated that. Now, in terms of actually drawing the flowers, I know it looks a little bit intimidating and complex, but trust me, they're actually quite easy to draw. I found that the less perfect they are, the better. For most of the cherry blossom flowers, I just scribbled 5 petals and made the edges a bit more jagged, and then scribbled in the center of the flower as well to make it a bit darker. And I drew some flower buds that were not fully bloomed yet to add some variety to the drawing. Before I actually went in with the fine liner, I did a rough sketch of the branches with my pencil so I could kind of map out where the branches are going to be. For outlining the branches, I found that using my Tombow Fudenosuke soft tip brush pen worked really well for it. And what I did was I actually held the pen a bit more vertical than I normally would and loosely held it, so there was a lot of jagged lines and it kind of gave a branch look to it. My hand was actually shaking a lot while doing this, and it actually helped the drawing, I think, because those little shakes and bumps in the branches make it look more realistic. In terms of the accent color, I am using my Crayola Super Tips, the handy dandy super tips that I use basically every single month, and I'm using this pale pink color just to color the center of the flowers. For the coloring of the flowers, I didn't do it too perfectly. I actually didn't even color in the whole flower. It was just mostly scribble in the center just to give it that pale pink color, and it also helped to speed things along because there was a lot of flowers on this cover page. On the other side, I did a quote page that says, "Wherever life plants you, bloom with grace." I saw this quote on Pinterest and I thought it was perfect for this month's theme, and I just drew a couple other cherry blossom branches on the side of it. To tie in everything together, I added some floating petals and dots to make it look like the petals were falling, which I think added a nice magical ethereal touch to the whole theme. For my monthly calendar, I opted for a more simple layout and only drew the horizontal lines of the calendar, which gave it a more spacious, airy, light feel on the page, and I feel like that matches the theme very well. I decorated the calendar by using my pink accent color for the days of the week, and I feel like those little pink dots kind of look like petals, which is perfect. And in order to finalize the page, I drew my YouTube growth tracker on the bottom left corner as usual, as well as some branches of cherry blossoms coming in from both sides, the top and the bottom. I feel like a lot of my spreads, especially in recent times, have used a lot of closed boxes, which I like the look of, but it was fun this month to play around with the negative space and the open boxes, which you'll see a lot of this month. I barely ever close up a box, which does mean that there's less drop shadows. I know, it's sad, but I wanted to try something a little bit different for this month. And I really love how that naturally tied in with the theme and everything came together very nicely. Plus, by not doing the completed boxes, it saved a lot of time because basically I was just drawing lines as dividers instead of, boxes for every individual section. You're gonna soon see that my favorite thing to add was these floating falling petals all around the branches. I loved the way it added movement and I could kind of feel the wind breeze while doing it, which is weird. I don't know, it just reminds me of like an anime ending of some sort because there's always like sakura petals falling. Oh yeah, speaking of sakura, of course, I intentionally used my Sakura Pigma Micron fine liners for this month just because I had to. With a Sakura theme, you gotta use the Sakura Pigma Microns. I mean, I probably would have been using it no matter what theme I did, but I just thought it was a funny coincidence. Anyways, back to the spreads. We are currently doing our trackers. This month's mood tracker is one of my all-time faves. Honestly, this whole month is one of my all-time faves. I had so much fun doing it and I was in a very doodly mood and I felt very inspired by the theme and I had a lot of ideas. So for the mood tracker, I drew a branch of cherry blossoms along the top and then I drew a bunch of flowers and petals falling from it. And I made sure to draw them big enough and vary the sizes, but essentially each day is going to be a petal and I numbered them off and then I'll color them in according to my mood for that day. I drew a little legend in the bottom left corner to correlate which color means what mood, but I'm so excited to color this in and just see how it looks when it's all finished and all of the petals are colored in and falling. Can you tell I'm very excited? Anyways, my habit tracker, you guys know the deal with this one. It's the same thing that I've been doing for the past year, the individual trackers. But this month I decided to opt for something a little bit different. Instead of writing out all of the numbers for the month, I just drew an empty box in the shape of a month. So we'll see how that goes. I wanted to just kind of do the dots within the dot grid spacing, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm explaining this very badly, but it was mostly because I was too lazy to write out all of the numbers. So we'll see if it gets confusing. If it does, I might have to add in the numbers later on. But for now, my plan is just to draw the colored dots with my pink marker. Again, gotta add that cherry blossom tree branch at the top. And I really liked the way that the habit tracker and the mood tracker header at the top ended up looking continuous and merged into one. This wasn't my intention going into it, but that's how it ended up and I really liked it. Oh, and at the bottom there was some space, so I wrote a quote that said, "Be patient with yourself, nothing in nature blooms all year." I had a lot of quote ideas from Pinterest because they all had to do with flowers and blooming, and I feel like any quote that has to do with flowers is beautiful, so I had a lot of options, but leave some more quote ideas in the comments below, your favorite floral related quote, and maybe it'll make an appearance in my future weekly spreads. So I can't wait to read them all. Oh, and this page is a brain dump page just for all my ideas. So at the bottom I said, "Let your ideas bloom," and there's just a nice border of cherry blossom branches and petals, of course, floating everywhere. I love doing these brain dump pages for me to write out all of my ideas, whether it's for videos or just random notes. This next spread is my trip planner. I'm actually going to be traveling quite a lot in February and a bit into March. I'm going to be in New York for a bit, and I'm also going to be at Playlist Live. So if any of you are going to be at Playlist Live Orlando, make sure you look out for me and say hi. I can't wait to possibly meet a bunch of you guys there. Since the trips were kind of last minute and they're all back to back, there was a lot of information and things that I needed to remember, so I made these charts for each trip. One section of the chart has flight info, one is a packing list, so anything specific that I need to remember to bring for that trip, and then there's another column for other notes or reminders. On the other page, I decided to do a monthly favorite spread. I did one of these, I forgot when, but a couple months back, and you guys actually seemed to really like hearing about some of my favorite things for the month, so I figured since I was already in a doodly mood, I would just doodle some of my fave go-to things. I mean, there's really no function to the spread, but I enjoyed looking through some of your favorite spreads last time, so make sure you share them so I can look at some of your suggestions. For makeup, recently I've been obsessed with wearing pink peachy eyeshadow. You may have noticed that's basically the only makeup look that I wear. And the eyeshadow palette that I use for this is the W Lab Blooming palette. And I also wear a matching peachy lip stain, and my favorite currently is the Pony Effect lip stain in Simon Pure. For TV shows, I've currently fallen down the Terrace House hole. It's this Japanese reality show and it's so addicting. And for music, I haven't stopped listening to Don't by Loco and Hwasa, No Air by The Boys, and It's You by Sam Kim featuring Zico. And then for art, recently I've been getting back into doing a lot of digital art. If you guys didn't know, I actually got into art as a kid by doing digital drawings. And then I kind of strayed away from it, but now I'm back and I've been practicing a lot and posting them over on my Instagram, so I use my iPad Pro as well as Procreate in order to do a lot of my drawings. So those were some of my favorites, but now on to my weekly spread. For this week's spread, I did a layout that I haven't done in quite a long time, but it used to be my go-to spread layout when I first started bullet journaling, and it was a bit nostalgic for me because February was actually the month that I first started doing these monthly Plan With Me videos 2 years ago, February 2017, and coincidentally, that month's theme was also floral. So this was like a trip down memory lane for me because I was recreating an old spread layout, but with my newer style on top of that, and obviously I've improved a lot since February 2017, so it's a little bit different. But anyways, I tied the whole thing together with a quote and some doodles, and I feel like the spread is pretty functional and quick to do as well, even if you didn't want to do the doodles. Alright guys, before we wrap up and I show you the final flip through and your recreations from last month, I'd like to quickly take this time to talk about this week's sponsor, Squarespace. If you're looking to build your own website or run a business online and sell products, Squarespace is the perfect all-in-one platform to do so. They make it super easy to create an awesome website. You can transfer and set up domains there. They have beautiful designer templates for you to use and customize. And if you ever need any help, they have 24/7 award-winning customer service, which is obviously great. They even have tools to help you out with your marketing. You can set up email newsletters and campaigns through them, which is really great. I know that setting up a website can be very overwhelming, no matter what kind of website you're setting up, an online store, a digital portfolio, a personal website. There's just so many things to consider. So with Squarespace, it's all there for you and they have you covered. So if you guys want to try out Squarespace for yourself, go to squarespace.com/AmandaRachLee for a free trial and for 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Here is the final flip through of my February 2019 bullet journal setup with the cherry blossom theme that you guys requested so much. I hope it was worth the wait and that it lived up to your expectations. I know I've said this already, but I think it might be one of my ultimate favorite themes that I've ever done. I know, big claim. Okay guys, so as usual, let's look at your beautiful recreations from last month, which was January. Look at all of them. Wow. You guys do a great job. I always love seeing your recreations, so if you do recreate any of my spreads, whether it be this month or a previous month, be sure to tag me on Instagram so I can see them all and like them and comment on them, and maybe you'll be featured in next month's video. Who knows? Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that bell button down below so you never miss a new video from me. But I think that's it, so keep doodling and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye everyone!